Hello, everyone. I'm Kelly Covert from Symphoria, and this is At Home with Symphoria. And today we have our Principal Pops Conductor, Sean O'Loughlin, here with us all the way from California, sunny,
Hello.
beautiful California. How are you, Sean?
I'm doing all right under the circumstances. We're
Yes.
keeping our heads screwed on as much as we can. So
And you have two little ones in your house, right? How's that going?
yeah, we started. We had like practice homeschool last week, and now it's like actual assignments and grading and stuff. So we've been kind of juggling that. My wife Dina is working from home, so we got her set up in the living room, and like we were talking about just before we got live, our house is a real working house right now, and it's probably going to want a vacation from us at the end of this. But it's like we've discovered every nook and cranny in our house at this point, and try and get outside for walks and bike rides when we can, and we're just trying to keep everyone moving forward. And I like to call this time preparing to thrive. So we're all getting ready to thrive when we all get back online. It's funny because we're not online right now, but we're all online. And then when we get
Right.
back online in life, then we're
We'll
going to be
be
ready.
less online.
Yeah, and for our purposes with the orchestra, Symphoria, we're still programming and we're still getting ready for a really exciting season next year. And so that work doesn't stop just because we're not on stage. There's a lot that goes. We always call it the tip of the iceberg, right? Because what you see
hmm
on stage is that tip, but there's a lot that goes underneath the water in an iceberg style to make all these concerts happen. So we're in full planning mode and moving forward, and nothing but hope springs eternal is the kind of attitude we're taking, and looking towards this time is maybe discovering things we haven't had a chance to discover yet. So I know my wife and I are
Exactly.
enjoying the time with the girls, and really just with the girls because we can't really see anyone else these days. So
It's the girls all the time.
yeah, all the girls all the time. So
Well, I have all the boys all the time, so
that's right.
I can appreciate that. So since you're sort of in a hiatus from conducting and things like that, what are you working on right now?
Well, I've taken, like I mentioned, I'm taking the time to kind of work on programs for next year. So we're looking at holiday pop shows. We have actually a really exciting program to open our season, a John Williams tribute, which is a composer, one of my favorites. And so it's been fun to kind of look through his catalog of some things that we know, of course, like the Star Wars and the ETs of the world, but then some of the lesser known works, like his beautiful score from JFK. There's a piece of music from that called Arlington, which features our principal horn, Julie Bridge. We played it a few years ago. I think I'm going to include that again.
Mm,
Just great music if you have a chance to listen to that soundtrack, and really thought-provoking movie as well. But on the writing side of things, I've actually been inspired by one of our wonderful violinist, Sonia Williams. She came to me, I don't know, a couple years ago with the idea of creating a new setting of the wonderful Celtic carol called the Wexford Carol. So I've kind of dove into that, and hopefully we'll be able to include that in this year's Holiday Pops. So for me, writing is a bit of a cathartic exercise, and kind of makes me feel normal for at least a half a minute. And so that's what we do. We keep our brains moving forward, and I've also been listening to some pieces of music that I had a wonderful uh, discussion with someone about what are your favorite pieces when you're growing up, etc., and pieces to listen to, and Leonard Bernstein's been always one of my favorites, and I kind of discovered his Divertimento for orchestra. It's a series of 8 kind of small vignettes, and it doesn't get played too very often, but there's so much creativity in these little pieces. So I happen to have the score in my house here, so I listened to it and kind of followed along with the score, and just got felt like I was in college again, at least for a brief moment, where all we had to worry about was music, right? We didn't really
yeah,
worry about all the real life bills and all the other stuff that goes with real life. So it's been fun kind of doing that, a little bit of forward planning and a little bit of backward reminiscing. And I'm sure everyone's finding like old photos, and we cleaned out the garage the other day and found all this basket of all these old photos from like our wedding and when our daughter was born. And it's just been
hmm
a big smile fest, kind of reminiscing about all those great memories, and looking forward to making new ones again.
for sure, for sure. Well, the big question is this new piece you're writing going to have a great piccolo part?
Reluctantly, I put a piccolo part in there, and there's actually some solo parts. So you're
Uh,
welcome. What do you
Thank you.
say?
This is just so everyone who's listening knows this is my ongoing request to Sean is to write really good piccolo parts for all of the holiday pops music that he writes for us. So he is usually eager to comply.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Eager's one word to use.
All right, I'm not going to get my feelings hurt about that. If you could be anything else besides what you do, a professional musician, what do you think you would choose?
I've always enjoyed reading and reading kind of historical fiction novels, and authors like Dan Brown and Steve Barry are some of my favorites. And I've always wanted to write a novel, like a pure story. And I know I write in another sense, music wise, and tell stories through music, but actually creating and being a fictional novel writer is always something that's kind of been on my mind, and maybe I'll attempt it someday. I don't know. One of the other dads at the elementary school here has actually written a couple books along those veins, and he's been very inspiring. He shared the books with us, and we've had some fun discussions, and so I think that would be one thing.
You know what would be so cool is to write a book and then write a soundtrack to go with it.
Oh, that'd be great. I'll have to find someone to write the music, but once I get the book done, we'll sort it out.
Yeah, I'm full of great ideas today.
hmm
Okay, so right now, especially, what is your favorite guilty pleasure that's getting you through?
We've talked about our family. We've kind of built in some alone time for each of us to kind of, because we're in each other's grill all day. So, just to kind of have a little breath of fresh air and allow us to be our own space for a little bit. And reading too has been a real good kind of way to be a guilty pleasure out of it. And I'm also a pretty avid golfer. So with all the golf courses shut down as well, I'm trying to keep my swing in play. So I have this little bucket of foam golf balls, and I tee it up in our front yard and hit balls out into the street. And they're foam; they're not going to hurt anyone. It kind of, and I get the girls going too. It's fun to see the girls trying to get them into golf, and they really enjoy it. So they're out there whacking their driver and whacking the little foam golf balls into the street. So it's kind of fun little
Nice.
thing that we're doing.
Nice. Very good. Very good. So, what are you listening to right now?
What am I listening to? Well, I've been in kind of holiday pops programming mode, so I'm listening to a lot of Christmas music, which is, Christmas in March and April. Oh, let's say a quick hello from the girls. Yeah, say
Hi,
hi, girls.
ladies. How are you?
Oh, we got an outdoor tea party coming.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you're gonna twinkle them? I, again, I think twinkling means polishing, but I'm not sure in
Oh,
their world. So let them have a little space. Yep, and we have a little space. So we'll walk around a little bit while they're polishing or twinkling. Would you call it twinkling? Twinkling?
maybe if I called cleaning my house twinkling, I'd be more inclined to do it.
Yeah, it's all twinkling. It's actually really good.
Okay. So holiday music. Anything else?
Holiday music, yeah, and we've been also listening to some movie music along the way.
Mhm.
Some of my favorites are always, well, like I said, I'm listening for some John Williams ideas too. So some of his great soundtracks, I'm kind of diving in as well. So uh, it's funny. I'm not really, usually don't track the amount of hours that I put in terms of listening to different material, because it just kind of comes, it's like it's just part of the thing. So you don't really pay attention to how much time you put in. But since we have a lot of time on our hands now, it's amazing how much time is really uh, passing by listening to some great music along the line. So
Mhm.
just doing that as much as I can.
Awesome. Fantastic. So, you already mentioned the John Williams concert, which I can't wait for. I love playing John Williams. But what piece or pieces are you most looking forward to next season?
Well, it's quite a fun, diverse season that we have in play. The holiday pops are always fun, of course, and we're always looking for new ways to tweak that and improve that experience for the fans and the audience and the orchestra alike, of course. And then we have a really fun program. We're going to bring Nick Ziobro and Julia good one back. But this time, we've only featured them in our holiday pop shows. We've never really featured them kind of in their playground, which is the Great American Songbook. So
Mhm.
I've had some fun kind of looking into some of the old great recordings like Nat King Cole and Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald. So we're going to, bring a really fresh take to the Great American Songbook and really, feature them in more than just a couple songs. It's going to be a whole program with Nick and Julia, which is going to be it's just going to be a thrill to be able to do that. And then we also have the Doo-Wop project that's going to join us at the end of the season, which for me is I was fortunate enough to perform with them in San Diego either last summer or 2 summers ago, and they are just absolute dynamic performers. There's 5 singers, and they're all veterans of Broadway, between the Frankie Valli, Jersey Boys musical, and then Motown the musical. So they are, Tony nominated performers. And yes, they sing all those great doo-wop songs from the 50s and 60s, but then they also sing newer songs like by Adele and Sam Smith in a doo-wop style. And it's really, really super creative. And so we're anxious to bring that show to Syracuse. That'll be May of next year. So about a year from now, we'll be doo-wopping at the Civic Center. So be sure to join us for that. So in terms of your actual question that I have failed to answer in all of these ramblings.
I knew you were getting there.
Yeah, I know.
We just went on the journey with you.
That piece Arlington from JFK is just it's a solo horn to start out, and then it transitions into string orchestra, and it is absolutely one of the most passionate pieces of music you'll ever hear, and it's hard to believe it's part of a film. So if you get a chance to listen to it, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube or iTunes or wherever you find music. It's really a piece to look forward to, and it's in a really poignant part of that movie, where it's in Arlington National Cemetery, and they're kind of going back through all of the circumstances that led to the untimely assassination of JFK. So it's a really, really powerful piece of music, and to me showcases John Williams's, kind of flexibility and his complete chameleon-like quality to be able to write, the big themes like the Star Wars and ETs, and then also to write more intimate, kind of passionate, haunting music like this Arlington from JFK. So check it out if you can.
Well, I was writing a note to myself. I'll try to find a link to it on YouTube and put it in the comments. So those
Perfect.
of you who are watching can then go check that out and take a listen. So I just wanted to let you know Donna Miller is with us.
Oh, sweet Donna. Hi,
She's
Donna.
so sorry that she's not going to see you in Sarasota, but that she's sure she will see you on stage soon. And Vicki Feldman, one of our biggest Symphoria fans and a board member, she's here, and she loves the fact that no one's wearing shoes at your house. That's something we haven't experienced yet here in Syracuse.
Oh, yeah. Well, we call it our what's the word that we're using? It's like a Corona wardrobe or something. It's
Right.
It's a very different set of rules as we're moving through this crazy time. So
Yeah.
just
Well,
trying to keep everyone comfortable.
exactly. You do what you need to do. So it's time for our lightning round of questions. And these questions were provided by Ben Dettelbeck, sorry, I said it wrong, who was
our new principal trombonist. Yes.
Yes. And
Great player.
These were super interesting to me, and I think perfect for you. I might have told him that you were the next person, so he had a little bit of an advantage.
Okay.
So first thing that comes to your mind, you don't have to explain it or anything. You ready?
Got it.
Okay, here we go. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Your favorite place you've ever traveled? Syracuse, right?
Syracuse. No, I grew up there. Favorite place. I don't know. We went to Tenerife in the Canary Islands on our honeymoon. So that fond memories. Yep.
Excellent. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Good. That's what I thought. Your favorite sport to play?
There's 2 of them, golf and basketball. I kind of like both of those. Basketball, I get the exercise out of, but golf, I get I get golf.
Yeah. Well, that's exercising. You're walking.
It is. Ish. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. What is your favorite podcast if you listen to podcasts?
I don't listen to podcasts. Yeah.
Mm, okay. Well,
I
maybe
don't.
it should be podcast or no podcasts.
Yeah. No podcast.
We'll have to ask Ben what his favorite is. And I think this is interesting since you were saying that your guilty pleasure right now is reading a lot. What is the worst book you've read or tried to read in the past year?
There's one I had to put down because it was the one on the train. It
Girl
was like
on
a
the
murder
Train?
girl on the train. Yeah, I tried to read that, and I don't know. I like books that take me on an adventure and on a journey, but not like go into depths of depression and you know uh, revenge and all that. It was just too
Mhm.
dark. It was too dark for me. I needed a little more escapism
Yeah.
than someone than that book was. But it's a great book. It's a great movie, and I just couldn't finish it. I had to put it down.
That's allowed. You
Hmm.
can feel how you want to feel, especially now, right, Sean?
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to everyone who's listening and who's coming in, listening after the fact. Please leave your questions and comments in, and we'll try to pop back in and give you your answers. And be sure to join us on Thursday for our next At Home with Symphoria at what time is it on Thursday? 12:30 Eastern. Thanks,
Very
Sean.
cool.
See you
Thanks,
soon.
guys. All right. Be
Take
safe,
care.
everyone.